a sun-soaked land of olive groves, islands, and ruins older than most countries on Earth. A place where democracy was invented, where Spartans once told invaders to come and take it, and where grandmothers wield wooden spoons with more authority than some armies. That land is Greece. And invading it? Well, good luck. You'd have an easier time trying to win an argument with a Greek waiter about how much feta is enough. Spoiler, there is no such thing as enough. But let's get serious. Greece isn't just another picturesque Mediterranean country. It's a fortress, carved by mountains, surrounded by seas, and defended by a military and a people who've made resistance part of their DNA. From the Persian Empire to Nazi Germany, plenty of empires tried their luck. The scoreboard? Greece. Undefeated in spirit. Everyone else filed under historic blunders. So, why is invading Greece basically national suicide? Let's break it down. The first problem is geography. About 80% of Greece is mountains. The Pindus Range runs like a spine through the country, creating endless choke points and natural barriers. Roads are narrow, bridges scarce, and valleys perfect for ambushes. This isn't Poland in 1939, flat and open for blitzkrieg. This is terrain that eats tanks alive. An armored column moving into Greece has to crawl through mountain passes, where defenders can rain down fire from high ground. It's the same tactical problem Xerxes faced at Thermopylae, and modern armies would still suffer the same fate. Climate adds another layer. Summers regularly top 40 degrees Celsius, hot enough to cook soldiers in their body armor, while mountain winters drop below freezing. An army doesn't just have to fight Greeks, it has to fight the land itself. And then there are the islands. Greece controls thousands of them, roughly 6,000 islands and islets in total, with about 227 inhabited. Many sit right off Turkey's coast, in some cases less than a kilometer away. Militarily, that's a nightmare for an invader. Each island can be fortified with troops, artillery, and coastal defenses. The Aegean essentially becomes a giant kill zone. A fleet trying to move through it is exposed from every direction. It's not an open sea, it's a shooting gallery. Which brings us to the Greek military. For a country of about 10 million people, it hits above its weight. Greece maintains roughly 142,700 active personnel and 221,350 reservists. A mobilized pool approaching 365,000 when needed. This isn't just a headcount. Conscription and regular call-ups mean a broad slice of the population has at least basic training, particularly valuable in mountainous and island operations. On the ground, Greece fields one of Europe's heavier armored inventories. The Hellenic army operates around 353 Leopard 2 main battle tanks, 170 Leopard 2A6 and 183 Leopard 2A4, plus roughly 500 Leopard 1A5s in service. In plain terms, plenty of 120mm guns for anyone who mistakes olive groves for easy avenues of approach. The Air Force is the crown jewel. The Hellenic Air Force flies about 150 F-16s and operates 24 Rafale F-3R fighters, the last of which were delivered in January 2025, bringing long-range Meteor missiles into the mix. And the next chapter is already signed. An initial batch of 20 F-35A stealth jets under a letter of offer and acceptance, with U.S. approval for up to 40 total. For any invader, that means Greek pilots, already among NATO's most seasoned in real daily intercepts, will be fighting at home, backed by ground radar and integrated air defenses. At sea, the Hellenic Navy is built for the Aegean's complexity. It operates a frigate force and a large flotilla of missile boats tailored for ambush in narrow seas. But the asymmetric ace is underwater, 11 submarines, including 4 ultra-quiet Type 2 1-4 AIP boats. In those tight straits and between rocky islands, a single Greek sub can paralyze an entire landing schedule. For an invading fleet that depends on roll-on, roll-off shipping, fuelers, and landing craft, that's a logistical horror story. Now, let's talk strategy. Greece's posture is classic anti-access area denial. Make entry costly, maneuver lethal, and progress glacial. On the islands and coasts, ships and shore units field Exocet-class anti-ship missiles and other sea denial tools, while the air defense umbrella layers Patriot PAC-3 and S-300 PMU-1 batteries, with shorter range systems like Tor M1 and Crotal. Tie that to fighters on alert at dispersed bases and a radar picture shaped by years of real-world scrambles, and the Aegean turns hostile fast. Even in peacetime, Greece's defense spending sits just over the 3% of GDP mark, near the top of NATO, funding modern kits and constant readiness. And this isn't just theory. History backs it up. In 1940, Mussolini thought invading Greece would be quick and glorious. Instead, Italian forces were pushed back into Albania. When Nazi Germany intervened, it won the campaign, but it lost time, forcing delays that helped put Wehrmacht troops into the teeth of a Russian winter. Greece didn't just resist, it altered timelines and outcomes. But even if you did somehow land troops in Greece today, your problems would only begin. Resupply lines would choke on narrow mountain roads, vulnerable to ambush and demolition. Submarines would stalk your sea lanes. Air bases and mobile SAMs would track your aircraft. And occupying towns? That's where you'd meet the true heart of Greek defense, the people. From Ottoman rule to Nazi occupation, resistance is a national tradition. Occupy a Greek village, and you'll find fishermen quietly sabotaging your boats, while Yaya keeps a suspiciously heavy olive oil can by the door. You're not just fighting the army, you're fighting a culture that refuses to bow. And of course, there's NATO. Greece isn't alone. An invasion triggers Article 5, bringing the United States, France, and Europe into the fight. Greece already hosts major allied infrastructure at Suda Bay in Crete, NATO's premier eastern Mediterranean naval hub, for U.S. and allied operations, which means an aggressor is not just poking Athens, they're poking the alliance's logistics and strike posture. That escalates fast, and not in the invader's favor. Now, the elephant across the Aegean, Turkey. The neighbors have a long, tense history over airspace and islands. If anyone tried a modern invasion, it would most likely be them. But reality is brutal. Amphibious landings in the Aegean mean running a gauntlet of missile boats, subs, and coastal batteries. Air superiority would be contested by F-16V, Vipers, Rafales, and later F-35s, all backed by Patriots and S-300s. Even a temporary foothold would be a supply line nightmare under constant interdiction. It's the kind of plan that looks bold on a map and catastrophic in real life. Okay, so how might an invader try anyway? By land, the obvious route is Thrace, along the Evros River, but that corridor is narrow, fortified, and mapped to the meter. Bridges are regated for demolition. Artillery and ATGMs dominate the likely crossing points. Any armored thrust would find itself throttled by terrain and defense in depth, then ambushed as it tries to expand a bridgehead under constant counterattacks. By sea, amphibious operations would mean crossing confined waters under the eyes of an enemy that knows every strait and shoal. Greek submarines, 4 of them AIP black holes, can loiter and kill silently. Fast missile boats pop out from behind islands. Frigates fire ESSM and Harpoon-class munitions, and coastal units add their own salvos. Landing craft that do slip through still face beaches pre-sighted by artillery and ATGMs. In the Aegean, tides don't beat you. Geometry does. By air, you'd need air superiority first. Good luck. The HAF's fighter mix, integrated with SAMs, is built to punish anything that flies low enough to drop troops or high enough to think it's safe. Paratroopers, they're only as safe as their transports. Helicopter assaults? Great, until they meet IR, guided manpads, and radar-guided fire under a defended sky. With Patriots and S-300s shaping the battle and fighters waiting for the opening, any airborne gambit becomes a casualty generator. So, is it possible to invade Greece? Maybe on paper. But in reality, between the mountains, the islands, the tanks, the aircraft, the submarines, the people, and NATO, it's a nightmare scenario for any invader. You're not just fighting a country, you're fighting history, geography, and an entire alliance. And history is not on your side. So here's the lesson. Don't invade Greece. Visit Greece. Bring sunscreen. Order a gyro. Argue about soccer with the locals and enjoy the beaches. Because if you come as a tourist, they'll welcome you with open arms. But if you come as an invader, Yai is already waiting. And trust me, she's not making cookies.